Hello everyone, it's Teri and Evan in the Great Herbal Outdoors again today. We are avoiding the bumblebees. Evan's a little freaked out by them, I think. But we're looking for motherwort today, and we want to teach you a little bit about how to harvest it and what it can be used for. So Evan's got a few things to tell you about it. I'll give him a chance in just a minute. Here we are, right up close to a motherwort plant. It's growing on the edge of one of the compost piles. Evan, you've already asked the question and we've already discovered the answer. What makes motherwort different than nettles? Because early in the season they look very much alike. This plant has changed since then, but what did you discover was different?
Number one, the leaves are a little more cut more deep, and they look a bit more like maple leaves, like almost like your hand.
Right.
And then also, unlike nettles, they grow a stalk with little tiny prickers, which really hurts. Each one of those little holes in the prickers, all the way around the plant, are going to be one little purple flower.
Right, so if you happen to be walking along a roadside or the edge of the woods, you might still see these dried, dead stalks. And that would give you a good indication that motherwort is nearby, because I'm going to get a little closer and show you how many motherwort plants there are growing here that just seeded themselves from last year. You see all these little itty bitty seedlings? These are motherwort plants. These are motherwort plants. There's another one growing, very young one compared to this.
Right back there.
And all the way along here. Now what we know about motherwort is that the Latin name is Leonuris cardiaca. And I bet Evan can tell you something about that.
Well, Leonuris sounds like Leo, which is the constellation of a lion. And then cardiacus sounds like cardio, which the muscle most working in cardio is your heart. So lion-hearted?
Lion-hearted is a pretty good approximation of it. And we can get some clues about that plant from the Latin name, actually, lion-hearted. So we know that motherwort, it is in the mint family. It's a mint family plant. But if I were to pluck a piece of it right here and smell it, it does not smell like mint. It's not very aromatic at all. If I were to take a piece and eat it, would you like to try a piece?
I tried one yesterday. It's way too bitter for me.
He hit the right word. It is very bitter. So as a plant, it is not a plant that most people would tolerate taking as a tea. I mean, if you like bitter, this is your plant. It'll make your mouth kind of just curdle almost. I can do it, but it's not very pleasant. Anyway, this plant, because it's in the mint family, it's very safe plant to use. Historically, the cardiacus part of it meant that people were using it as a tincture or a tea in order to treat mild heart palpitations, usually palpitations from anxiety or anxious nervous system issues. Of course, right now I'm going to say again that we are not doctors, and if you have serious heart problems, definitely you should see your doctor or your cardiac specialist. But for a mild, anxious, worrisome, fearful kind of your heart speeds up or skips a couple beats, this might be just the thing to try. So that's how it's used for the heart. There are other indications, and throughout history it's been used for other heart issues. But we want to talk a little bit more about how it can be used for anxiety, fear, worries, anger, resentment, agitation. Evan, I know you're busy cutting parts of that plant, but can you just cover your ears for a minute? I don't really necessarily want you to hear this part. Got them closed?
Yeah.
Okay. I call this the pissed off and pissed on remedy. Oh, why is he smiling? I'm serious. If you feel what's going on with you. Are you still holding your ears shut?
What?
He's too funny. You can stop. I don't think you heard me. You're just joking me, right? Evan has harvested a basket full of motherwort, plenty for our use today, and there's a lot more where this came from. We just want you to know that this is a very quick acting remedy, and again, it's very safe. It's in the mint family. It's like food. When you make a tincture from this, which we'll show you in a few minutes, when the tincture is finished, you can put it in a small dosage bottle, and generally I advise, if you're going to try it, this is historical uses, I advise taking 5 drops. When you feel agitated, when you feel upset, when you feel like nails on a chalkboard kind of feeling, like you just can't calm yourself down. You're not grounded in your body and you just need some calming. You would take 5 drops or 5 to 10 of the tincture and wait for 15 minutes. And generally, most people are going to feel an effect in 15 minutes. If it does not calm you down and take you back to that calm space where you have a little room to think and sort things through, then take 5 to 10 more drops after 15 minutes. And what will happen is, when you feel that calmness come over you, you will know what your initial dosage should be. So let's say you took 5 drops, 15 minutes later you took 5 more drops, you still weren't feeling quite in your body, take 5 more, and all of a sudden you feel relief. It feels like, wow, what just happened? This is amazing. That 15 drops then would probably be your initial dosage the next time you felt so riled up. So that's how we do it. I'm not talking about droppers full, I'm talking about drops. Okay, we're gonna go to the backyard over to the table and show you just how simple it is to make this into a tincture. Okay, here's the motherwort. You can see, if you take a close look, the stems are very square. That's a good sign that it's in the mint family. Most mint family plants are square, if not all of them. But basically what I'm going to do is just cut this up. Stalks and all, the stalks are real. I mean, they're thick and they're hardy, but they're easy to cut through. And I'm just giving it a good chop. You could actually do it like this, just put it in your jar. I just have a pint jar here because I made a lot of motherwort tincture last year and I haven't used it all. Which reminds me to let you know that tincture usually lasts a very long time. Many herbalists say up to 10 years or longer, so I don't need to make a large amount, but while I'm cutting this up, you'll see it's pretty much filling the jar without me pushing it down. And I didn't even use everything I have, so I'll put that much in there. I'm going to use brandy over this. Now, many herbalists use 100 proof vodka or Everclear, and to me that's really hard on my digestive system. Brandy's a little bit smoother, a little bit softer, and I believe it gets very good results as well. There are other herbalists using brandy as well. I'm just filling this up, letting it fill in the air spots, spaces between the leaf, and when it gets to the top, and it's mainly covering the material, all I have to do, now that I've bruised those cell walls by chopping it, is put on a tight cover, shake it a little bit, and set this somewhere in your house that you pass by several times a day. When you think of it, pick it up and shake it. It's not necessary you do it every time you walk by. It's not necessary you do it every day, but when you think of it, shake it and let it sit. You will let that sit for 4 to 6 weeks, and after that time you can drain the plant matter out, put this back into a quart jar, or you can put it in one of those little 1 or 2 ounce dosage bottles, and then those that have a dropper in it, and you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops up to 10 every 15 minutes. I suggest you label this. So on here I would write Motherwort, Leonoris cardiaca, and the date. So I'm sure, I sometimes put it on my calendar too, so I'm sure I'll go out 4 to 6 weeks and write strain the motherwort. One other thing about this, it's quick acting, but what's interesting about the plants is I really truly believe the plants are here to help us, and they show up when they're needed. And last year and the year before, there was an abundance of motherwort. There's even more this year. I think this plant is here because it wants to help us. So pay attention to where you see it. Pay attention to the fact if there's more than usual, or if some plant is growing in a place that it never has been seen in your area before. It might be trying to communicate with you. It might be trying to help you. So for those days, we've all been social distancing and in quarantine, and many of you are home with whole families trying to get their schoolwork done, their job done, and there's minor and major irritations all the way around. So if you're really upset, restless, frustrated, anxious, maybe you'd use this plant. If you're any of those, riled up, agitated, or I don't know what's the word for it, Evan?
PO'd.
PO'd. I think he heard me earlier when I told him to cover his ears. All of those, motherwort will be a gentle helper for you. That's all today from Teri and Evan in the Great Outdoors, the Great Herbal Outdoors.
Can you guess what our next video is going to be about?